back at WNST, Towson, Baltimore. I'm Baltimore Positive. We're positively out here at the Beaumont. We're at the bar where I like to be. We're in Catonsville. We're at the corner of Eggs and Meller and Frederick. We're just about a mile outside the Beltway. State Fair across the street. This is where they shoot the fireworks and they do New Year's Eve in the fire department here. We're about a half a block from Bill's Music, and we're celebrating today, the Maryland Crab Cake Tour. We have Rock and Roll Hall of Famer Gina Schock of the Fabulous Go-Go's in the House of Shock with us. It's all brought to you by our friends at Window Nation. I'm giving away a Maryland Lottery scratch-offs. I had a $100 winner at Coco's last week, so I was thrilled about that because she stood up and screamed, and we had a great time. We had a great show out there. Hope everybody's enjoying that. And I have waited about 7.5, 8 months. You and I haven't spoken a word to each other than you saw me at the Hard Rock. You said, "Hey, hon, how you doing? Oh, I love you, bye." And you're signing autographs, and you're a rock star, and you're in the Hall of Fame, and all this stuff. And since the last time we talked, you ate my crab cake at Costas.
Yeah, well.
I think you ate 2 of them.
I'm sorry.
And you left, and then 2 days later, I get a text from Wendell who says to me, "Gina likes that cute drummer that you grew up with, that Johnny Allen boy. What's that all about? She needs a guitar player. Does he play the guitar?" And I'm like, "Well, you need to call Ed Lauer, because Ed Lauer's the guitar guy in Baltimore." And I just threw a text out, kissed into the wind. It was 2 days before Christmas. You were very emotional being home with your family and all of that. And the next thing I know, Ed Lauer texts me, says, "I was over at Gina's house. She's the nicest lady I've ever met. And it's East Side, it's Baltimore." And the next thing I know, you got a band full of my friends, Ed's friends, our friends, his relatives, my childhood friends, all with this Dundalk connection. And I don't even know the story. I don't even know the story.
It's a family affair. It's a family affair.
So what happened? Give me the whole story.
Oh, well, good people. What can I say? I didn't know this was all going to happen, but Nestor, I guess things just happen the way they're supposed to. I really do believe in destiny. I really, really do.
I do too.
And so I think that, like, me meeting you and then you talking about Ed
don't say
and John
that.
and blah, blah, blah.
I mean,
and
I feel very sorry. You made me cry.
No, for real.
I'm serious, man. Like, I can't believe when I was there that night, I was, like, so proud because, like, I brought my Go-Go CD with me. You know what I mean? Like, I just know you from, MTV, you know what I mean? And you're this legend of Dundalk that I had never met. John and I had talked about you 20 times. Every time we get together, I'm like, "You find Gina Schock yet?" "No, I don't know. Joyce, George, I
they're very protective. I mean, God, I love them.
Well, we told that story last year, Christmas time.
I just got to say one thing, Nestor. I've been back here a lot lately, and it's just, I can't believe how much I'm loving being in Baltimore, and I used to want to run from Baltimore. And now,
oh, wow.
It's so beautiful, and I just feel like I'm washed with gratitude for everything, for growing up here and seeing how lovely everyone is. I mean, it's completely different than my life on the West Coast, and as you would imagine. And it's so real, and it's profound, and it's it just it fills me with joy to be here these days,
So why'd you put?
Just grateful.
So he texted, and by the way, your Poochie dog's here, your service dog here.
Penny.
We can bring her in the shot if
She's
you
the
want.
best. She is a service dog, and God damn it, she's a good kid.
Can we bring her over in the shot?
Yeah, come here, sweet pea.
No, just bring her over
Come
a
here,
little
my
bit.
little sweeter
All right,
pea,
so there you
sweeter
go.
pie.
So if you push her back a little bit, we can get her in the shot because I don't want to move the camera. So we have this beautiful creature here who's hanging with
We took her
Mama.
to the vet today to make sure she was okay. She has a heart. What's interesting, she has a heart murmur. Okay, I had a heart murmur, and then I had to have heart surgery, but she's going to be okay. She'll be okay.
Yeah, that was kind of your heart surgery was kind of famous, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that was in the prime of like the Go-Go's, right?
Yeah, I was just looking through stuff and I found the news footage from that, which is really kind of funny and weird. Very surreal, actually.
Okay, so I want to literally have your drink here, by the way.
Oh, okay.
We're at the Beaumont. Gina Schock's just kind of hanging out. She's trying to get off camera as much as she can. Come back. There you go. Come closer. Come closer. So we're at the bar at Beaumont. We were at Costas last year, and I want to recap this for everybody in 1 minute. I didn't know you from Boo. I always wanted to know you. I knew where you were from. I still don't know what house your parents lived in. I just know in that cluster somewhere down by Crossing Black. I don't really know where it is, right? To this day, I don't know where it is. And I would always wonder which house was yours. I would always think to myself, why doesn't she come back? And then George knew you, And I'm like, bucket list. I mean, Dundalk, and then you went in the Hall of Fame, and then I started chasing your publicist around to have you on. And I woke up last year on an October day. I was doing the show at Drug City. It was the first time I'd ever done the show at Drug City.
It's so great.
And I woke up, and Donna Jean Rumbly had you on her timeline having breakfast over at the Bay, and I pooped a brick. I'm like,
I love it.
She's in Baltimore. Donna, I need to have her on the show. I'm doing a live show. It doesn't need to be today. Or like John Waters has agreed to come on the show.
Oh, really?
No, this is serious. He agreed to come on the show, and I turned him down because it was Zoom. And I'm like, no, John,
yeah.
I want to do it with you in Baltimore.
You know, he's tough to get a hold of. I run into him at weird places. I'll be like at the last time I ran into him was in L.A. and I was at this kind of great deli place, and I was ordering something, and somebody in a voice next to me was like, I'll have the hit. And I was like, John? And he was like, Gina. I was like, Jesus Christ.
You knew him
We
in
were
the day.
ordering sandwiches, yeah.
What's the first time you met John Waters?
Oh, a long time ago, because my connection, and actually a lot of what's happened to me and the girls in the band was due to Edith Massey, who was in John's films.
Sure.
And I was in her band in 78. And that's how I...
Eating the eggs.
Yeah. That's how I got to L.A., San Francisco. I would go to New York anyway
Edie
a lot.
opened doors for you.
I love her. Yeah. I mean, being with her, I was turning 21 and I decided... After flying to L.A. and San Francisco, I was like, okay, I need to make the decision. I need to get out of here. I don't know where I'm going to go yet, but I'm going to figure that out. So I just took time, and I went back to San Francisco, went back to L.A., spent a little time in New York, and then I decided L.A.'s where I'm going to go. I think I could make it there because the cost of living was somewhat reasonable compared to everywhere else I was thinking of going. I mean, I had to go to...
This is in 78, 79, 80?
78, 79, yeah.
All right.
And so I went back to L.A., but it was Edie that got me there initially, playing in her band.
And she and John were like this, right?
Well, I mean, Edie had her shop down in Fells Point on Broadway, Edith's Shopping Bag. And when I was 19, I moved out of the house, and I moved at 15 North Broadway, right up the street. So I would go down there and see her all the time. And she'd just be sitting at the front of her store at the cash register with her cat Lovey and Jean, her little servant. And that was, oh, hi, Jean. She was wonderful. And I would talk to her all the time because I loved her.
What kind of music was Eating the Eggs?
Punk.
Just straight punk?
Yeah, just like,
What did you listen to? I mean, what's a gateway in Dundalk in 1975
I listened
for you
to
to
everything.
find that music?
I listened to everything.
Where did you
I
find
still
it?
do. I went to the record stores every week. I would stop in a record store and get whatever was new, whatever's happened. I was there. I'd spend all my allowance on records and concert tickets and magazines, Cream, Rolling Stone, whatever, I mean, it was all about music. That's all I cared about. So all my money, my allowance money was spent on instruments until I finally settled on drums. And then tickets and music. I don't know what the name of that record store was, but it was down where Two Guys used to be on Merritt Boulevard.
Well, it became a record and tape trader.
Which is now Aldi's or something right there. And there was a record store that I would go to all the time there to buy all my music. And I would get anything that was new. And I especially was enamored with the Brits. I loved English music. And
so Sex Pistols, Clash.
Yeah. But before that, I was always that spoke to me. That I was drawn to that. Like from Zeppelin, anything that was from the UK, I was like, I love it. And so I would get any new releases, and I started getting the Buzzcocks, the Sex Pistols, whatever was new and out from the UK, I was going to get it. So I knew what was going on. I was already happening. I knew it was, and plus I played in that band with George, and we were like Baltimore's first new wave punk band, Scratch and Sniff, and we knew what was going on musically. We were very in tune, and when you're that age,
but there's no internet there. There's no radio.
Doesn't matter, man.
There was an underground thing for it, right?
You do what you need to do to get the music that you're in love with. You will go to any length to get a hold of it.
Even if it's a Bryan Adams show in San Francisco.
Yeah, well, yeah. Okay, so Bryan Adams. Okay, I gotta say, we're gonna fast forward about a million.
Does
years.
this have anything to do with Joan Jett or no?
Yes, it does.
Okay, so Gina Schock is our guest. She's in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame as a member of the Go-Go's. She's a drummer. She hits the skins. Joan has been on the show. This is why it's so freaky with you, right? I was the music critic at The Sun from 86 to 92. I interviewed Bowie, Plant, Page, like all of these people, right?
Yeah,
like Paul Rogers. I did all of this cool stuff. But you were like never around here, and I know I've told you that a bunch of times.
No.
Now you say you were sort of running from here to some degree in your own mind.
I didn't want to. I was so happy to get out because it was only a dream to get out of this town. And I wanted to go to LA, and I wanted to be
a
rock star.
Yeah, right.
And it happened, and I was fully, in love with the whole scene, and fully enmeshed in it. But I always came back home here. Every year I was in town. I never missed a Christmas. Every single year I spent Christmas with my family. From 1978, when I moved out to LA in '79, I always came home, and I did to this day till my parents passed. Always came back. And then I'd come back, when I was on tour, when I got done, I'd come back and spend a month. I was lucky. I got to spend more time with my parents than most folks would that have a job.
Right on.
Because, so I was lucky in that way to be able to see my folks as much.
Well,
anyway, how do we get off
so I was
with
at
Bryan
Costas.
Adams? Wait a minute
Okay,
now.
all right, go ahead.
Okay.
We're all over the place.
Okay,
Oh,
so
no, I'm never going to learn about the House of Shock.
We're going to get into that, but okay. So the deal is, Wendell, my partner Wendell, and I, and Penny, our child, we were in Niagara Falls doing a Comic-Con and doing book signings and all that sort of stuff. Which I have a book made in Hollywood. You know how fabulous that is. And Joan was my buddy Joan Jett was playing.
Now, when did you meet Joan? Runaways, before I Love Rock and Roll, all that, right?
Excuse me. We met in '79. The beginning of '79.
She's got such an Oriole connection and
I know,
the Jim Palmer thing and all that.
Crazy about that stuff. When I saw her a couple months ago, she was like, "How about those O's?" That's the first thing I remember. Like, oh Christ,
Dude, I would poop myself to go to a baseball game with you and Joan Jett.
You know what?
and Joan Jett
We
at
should
Camden
do that.
Yards, I'm buying.
We should do
Dude,
that.
that'd be crazy. Mm-hmm. Well, they're gonna make the playoffs. You should invite her in for the first playoff
She'll
game.
go, and I'll come. Her
Let's
and
go.
Kenny, and we'll go. So anyway. I thought, okay, we're going to go see her. So she's like, I'm opening for Bryan Adams. And I was like, cool, whatever. I want to see Joan. I don't care who she's playing with, So we had great seats, went back and talked to Joan, hang out for a while. And she played, and Wendell actually said to me, is she singing a track? I mean, is this, or is that her real voice? I was like, Wendell, that's her voice, and that band is playing live. Like, he couldn't believe how great. She sounds better than ever.
I saw them here.
I said to her, Joan,
Yeah.
what the fuck? What is going on, man? You sound better than you have. And she said, I guess, Gina, just from playing so much, my voice is just, like, right where it needs to be. And I'm telling you, she sounds great, playing great. The band's great. They're all wonderful. Anyway, we hang out, and Beef might be her tour manager, a stage manager, a guy named Beef, and he came back. He said, Gina, Bryan would love to meet you, and I was like, sure, I'll go meet him. And I went back, and he was just the nicest guy. I really, really like him. He was just a lovely fellow, and I then found out.
I love Bryan. It's my ultimate man crush.
Well, listen, let me finish. Then I found out that he was also a photographer.
Yeah,
and
big
has
time.
done right. So then it was like, well, I found that out after I met him. I was like, fuck, I got to meet him again. We got to talk.
That's his passion, the art.
I know.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I got it. Well, we're going to go see him. Hopefully, we're going to see him in 2 weeks. Anyway, so we're hanging out. He's lovely. I'm crazy about the guy. So I go out and I thought, I'm going to really listen to what his music, because I've never really cared about him. I'm swear to Christ, we were both almost.
It's a rock show.
Listen,
That's an arena rock
We were
show.
almost in tears because every song, you knew every song, and everybody in that audience was singing every song.
And Tina Turner just died, and he's doing It's Only Love.
I know. It was like, it blew my mind. The guy he's iconic, he's legendary, and I now am crazy about Bryan Adams.
My wife and I saw him 15 times when he just brought the guitar out and did the acoustic thing. Mm-hmm. He did that. He did it down in D.C. at a synagogue, at the I Street Synagogue, with couldn't have been more than 400 seats.
Yeah.
And he sings like an angel. He plays
his
like
voice.
an angel.
Yeah.
For my wife's on our wedding night, I sang a Bryan Adams song to her.
Well, you know what? His voice, I get
our
it.
20th anniversary is Tuesday, by the way.
Oh,
yeah.
Almost
so
happy 20th.
20th anniversary of me singing I'll Always Be Right There for You.
Well, I'll tell you what. He knocked me out, and everybody, like I said, that whole arena was singing. It was like he didn't even have to sing; the whole place was going on. And
yeah,
and he did cry, but yeah, I mean, and we got all teared up, and people. I mean, it was a beautiful thing, and it was like me meeting and seeing Springsteen for the first time. I didn't give a shit about him. I saw him play, and I just was knocked out, and I was like, let's go
Because
back.
it's what you do.
Yeah,
It's
no,
your
I
art.
want to meet this guy, but no, there was, I realized live. Wow, now I get it. Sometimes you got to see somebody live to really get them.
Feel it, experience
Yes,
it. Yeah.
yes, and
I did that with
Springsteen-
Seal back in May and June. I started
wait,
chasing Seal
somebody
around.
just saw Seal and said he was incredible.
Seal was the best thing I've seen in 20 years.
Hey, he's got his angelic voice.
Unbelievable. He was so good. I chased him around. I was thinking of going over to Europe and seeing him play. But that's where music is with me. So you think of me as like sports, and I have my Colt stuff here, and you were telling
I always
Don
do think of
old
you as
Colt stuff.
sports, but there's
Right, but the music part at this point in my life, music has been better to me than sports has been to me. You're sitting here right now. I call football players. Lamar's not sitting here right now. You're sitting here right now.
I am.
And the music still moves me. Since I have this sort of weird friendship with you, you show up on my YouTube from time to time. So, like, you and the girls sitting on the couch doing some Entertainment Weekly thing 10 years ago when you had some reunion thing
Yeah.
or whatever. Or when you're give me where you guys are right now, because I really did want to learn House of Shock, and I want to learn how I sent you Ed Lauer's number, and I literally sent you John Allen's number.
All right,
and I don't know what happened after
Okay,
that.
so now you're going to hear. Here's what's going on. The Go-Go's are just coasting right now.
Hiatus.
Yeah, I don't know where it's going to go. I don't think any of us do, because you know what? This band, we've been together over 40 years, and I can't tell you how many times every one of us have just sort of said, fuck it, I quit. I'm done with this. I'm
Right.
sick of the... we're like, we are family, and there's constantly fighting. And then there's constantly love. There's, it goes up and down. It's like a family. We love each other. We hate each other. It's all very intense.
Right.
The emotions and the feelings are intense.
Is it more intense 40 years later or less?
A little
There's not
less.
as much
A little-
drugs and
no,
alcohol.
Yeah, because that's not in the picture, so it's not insane. It's just...
It's time and money and emotion now.
Yeah. So hopefully we'll get back and do some shows. I always want to work. I love the band. I will do anything with the Go-Go's, because...
So when they call and say, do you want to do it, you're always in it.
I always want to go. I always want to do it because I love playing and I love that band. And because of them, I've had this incredible life, and I'm still having it. And it's due to the Go-Go's. So
Yeah,
I
it is.
always,
It really is.
that never goes out of my brain, never goes out of my mind.
That's
Anyway,
home base.
Yeah, so.
Well, Belinda's out touring. I'm
I
seeing
know
that.
she
Yeah.
is. Yeah. Anyway, we haven't been doing things, so I was out promoting my book, and doing some of these Comic Cons because I'd never done them before. And Jane was like, "You should do them," because Jane's done them, and she said it's kind of fun or whatever. Anyway, I've had a good time doing that, and we'll see how it goes.
I
don't
like
know.
Jane. I don't know Jane, but I like Jane.
Jane's great. She's kind of nuts, but you gotta love her. Anyway, I guess everybody can say that. We can say that about each.
All
each
five
of
of
us.
you say that about each
right.
other, right? Yeah, probably.
So I have been like wanting. I've been feeling like I need to do something musically. And Wendell's been really big pushing me to doing it because he's listened to all the stuff that I've written, and he's like my biggest fan. He goes crazy. He's like, Gina, you have so much great material. Really, you need to get this out there. I have hundreds and hundreds of songs that I've written over the years, and they're good. If you can sit down with an acoustic guitar and play it, then it's good. Well, I could do that with probably at least 50% of what I have. That's high. That's a good percentage rate. So I just thought, you know what? I want to maybe put a band together. I was like, wait, what I call it? House of Shock. Of course I'll call it House of Shock, right? And being as I've been in my parents, my mom and dad, House of Shock, on 45th Street with, it was like, yes, of course. The night that we met, I met John and Ed, and Wendell really spearheaded the whole thing because he talks to everyone, and then he just gives me a report of
All I got was a text saying, Gina wants to do some songs and needs a guitar player. She's going to sing some songs, maybe beat on the drums and need a guitar player. And I'm
That's
like,
Wendell,
and I'm
right.
like, Ed.
he does things. See, he does this to me all the time. He'll set me up with things, and I'm like, what
Should
are
I
you
put a headset
doing?
on him and have him be part
You
of
might
this?
as well.
Yeah, here, come on, Wendell, get down here, and we're gonna take a break at some point because I want to have fun and like continue this conversation.
I would like to get another
Wendell
one of these.
we gotta get another one. Is that Gin?
Oh yes, what's
Yeah,
the general?
I
What's
think
the
it's
bartender's
Gin.
name? Could I have another one? Thank
Wendell,
you, baby.
you have some headset now. You hear?
Yeah, he's here.
Hi, how are you?
Hey, what's up?
All right,
Should
man.
we
I gotta get your
get
volume
Penny?
right. That's
Baby,
right.
come on up, Angel.
All right. So So
we're a happy
you
family.
hit me
We're a happy family.
3 days before I go through my text. 3 days before Christmas, you hit me and say Gina needs a guitar
Angel.
player to do a couple of songs, maybe 3 songs at her book signings, maybe a little song and dance. And I thought, well, that'd be nice. I've never really heard Gina sing, and I know she's a songwriter. And I said, well, Ed Lauer would be happy to learn 3 songs.
What an
and,
angel.
do Our Lips Are Sealed or We Got the Beat or whatever.
Right.
And so pick up the story and tell her the truth now that you're with me. Don't lie to her.
That
Oh my God.
sucker.
All right,
All right.
Nestor.
I'm gonna
okay.
kill him.
Okay, truth be told,
Kill
I
him.
lied. She had no idea. We were doing a book signing for the Hard Rock, and Donna Jean Rumbley said, Wendell, we're going to do the book signing. I'm like, great, Donna Jean. I go down to check out the place like I should do, and I look at it. I said, they have a little stage here. I said, hey, you have an actual drum set there. Why not we have Gina do a couple songs? They said, great. I signed a contract. I thought, holy crap.
This looks like a Go-Go's video here to me right now. It really does. That's all right.
She got to look great, you
Yeah,
know.
go
She
ahead,
looks great
baby.
already.
So she always looks fabulous. so then I thought, well, who do I know that knows everybody in Baltimore? Nestor. I mean, Nestor, the guy that I saw the message on social media that said, I've been trying to reach Gina for 3 or 4 years trying to get an interview. And I said, well, how about today? Again, Gina didn't know. We were going to another function. I said, Gina, we got to make a quick stop at Drug City. For what? For what? I said, Nestor is
To
a
meet the
great
next
guy.
drummer in your band.
I said, Nestor's a great guy. He's been trying to get you. He's from Baltimore. He's been on the
I'm
radio
from
forever.
Dundalk.
You
I'm
know.
not from Baltimore.
And so, yeah, from Dundalk.
Dundalk.
So, Dundalk.
Say it the right way.
Right, Dundalk.
We'll be at Costas next
So-
week on the 3rd. And Drug City on the 4th.
So I call you up and say, hey, how about today at like 3 o'clock or something? You're like, are you fucking, or what?
Yeah,
Can I
right.
curse?
Yeah, well, you just did. It's okay.
You said, are you freaking serious? I'm like, yeah. And so I said, Gina, she said, what is, I don't know that place. What is it? Fix me up, babe.
Yeah.
Here we
There you
go.
go. There, thank you.
ADD.
Yeah.
That's all right.
Look, something shiny.
Yeah, there you go.
She said, I don't know what this is. Now, we went there, mind you, and she had such a fabulous time. She fought me the whole way there. I am not.
And then she
why
got the
you do this?
milkshake, and it was over.
Well, no. Honestly, it was you and John. You guys were fabulous. She said, and then I'm looking at you guys and going like, we got her next.
Yeah, because you had a book signing.
She had a book signing with at the
You just snuck us in.
What was that?
At the Hard Rock.
The bird nose.
No, you were over
No,
at Hopkins.
downtown.
Or something. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
And
downtown.
so
Yeah.
I'm like, we gotta go. And she's like, but I'm having a good time. I don't want to go. I'm like, so I said, Nestor, this is great, but we gotta go. So
We'll
you
do
got
it
it
again.
short.
I said, we'll do it
Yeah.
again.
So then when I visited the Hard Rock, I was like, I called you up, or I texted you. I said, Nestor, do you know anybody? And you said, Ed Lauer.
Oh, thanks, babe.
So I'm like, okay. So I get a hold of Ed, and then one thing led to another, and we have John Allen, Ed Lauer, Steve Ports, and
Jay Swanson.
Jay Swanson.
And you got your gal from Jersey, right?
Oh, yes.
Oh yeah,
Esther.
that's our social media gal. Astor's fabulous. She opened
She's
up one year
great.
for Beth
She
Hart.
was great.
She
She's
played
great.
with the 6th keyboard
Oh,
player
the dude from the Allman Brothers. What's
from
his
Allman
name?
Brothers.
Yeah.
Haynes?
Oh.
No.
No, he was
Dickie Betts, no.
no afterwards. Shoot.
We'll get back to
Anyway,
that.
get back to you on that.
Keep
one.
going.
Anyway, so I then tell Gina, hey babe, the book signing. She said, yeah. She said, yeah. I said, you're gonna play a couple songs. She said, I don't have a band here. I said, you kind of do. I said, they're from Baltimore. I said,
Oh my
Nestor
God.
helped put
I
it
wanna
together.
kill him.
He gave me the name. She said, that's
Kill
what she
him.
said. I'm gonna kill you. What are you doing? I said, it's like 4 songs. Well, 4 songs led to 11 or 12 when they met
Well,
right down the street at
guys
Bill's
were
Music.
texting
Bill's
me
Music.
from Bill's, and they're
Yes.
like, she's putting together, like, she's taking this really seriously. This is not just, like, kicking around. And when they
one-off,
got
yeah.
in with you, they saw why. I mean, literally, they all reached to me individually and said, now I know why she's in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. She's a freaking worker.
Yes,
I mean,
she's
like,
a perfectionist.
you're a worker.
She's
They
a
all figured that
perfectionist.
out,
It
and I
can
put you
always
with
be better.
workers, and all of them were workers too.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
guess that's
You
why
know?
you hit it off, because
Yes.
all of you had some energy, all of you had some rock star energy that night at the Hard Rock. Where like it mattered and it was on. And my wife, how about that? By the way, shout out to my wife, our 20th anniversary this week. She has known John Allen all of our marriage because John and I are friends, right?
Yeah.
She has seen John shake his ass as a singer
Yeah.
in Stone Horses,
Yeah.
Charm City Devil. A couple times she's seen him do that part. She has never seen him play the drums. He's played the drums a handful of times in the last 10 years. He played with a Child's Play reunion when Sarah Fleischer retired from
Yeah.
98 Rock, and they brought in Tom Kiefer. Kix and Child's Play put a band together and did like a couple of songs, and he played drums. And then he played drums the night the Child's Play reunited last summer in August because he was having a little foot problem. And he played that night, and she wasn't there. So she had never seen him play drums in 20 years of our marriage. And that night at the Hard Rock,
He's something.
he got back and got rolling on the drums.
badass.
And
He's
she's
badass.
like, what? no, John can play the drums like that. I'm like,
Yeah.
I've been telling you that
Badass.
for 20
Yes.
years.
Yeah.
You know? But you didn't even know that about him. When you sat with us at Drug City, he's just a cute guy in the band, right?
Yep.
Johnny Resnick guy, right?
Yeah. Well, Keith Urban guy.
Keith Urban guy.
Yeah,
Yes,
I mean,
Keith Urban.
yeah, but I
So
just,
Keith Urban.
he was so, he was just a lovely guy.
He's
you
the
know?
best guy I know.
Yeah, so he's
One
a
of my favorite
sweetheart.
people I
and
know,
so,
yeah.
you know, you're kind of, you're drawn to people that are like-minded, number one.
Well, I've known him
and
since 79.
Also a sweetheart. So there you go. Yeah, there you go.
And he grew up closer to you than I did. He's one more neighborhood closer over you.
Eastwood,
So
right?
you guys get here to Bill's,
Eastwood?
and you're
Yeah,
going to put this hard rock thing together, and it's going to be like a one-off thing. You've now got like promo pictures. You played up at Asbury. I mean, you're booking some gigs.
So I didn't tell her about. Sorry, babe. I didn't tell her about Asbury either. So that gig went so well, and I saw once they practiced, and I saw them at Bill's. There was magic happening. They were vibing. It was such a great. She was smiling. I'm like, I loved it. I mean, Gina can be stressed to high heaven, and when she gets behind that kit and gets with the right people, all stress is gone. And I said, babe, your face changes. She can sit there for hours playing. Just she's in another world. That makes me happy because she's so happy being behind that kit, being in that creative zone. And it's just, that's what it's about. It's not about the money. I mean, yeah, it's great. The Go-Go money is fabulous. But that was great looking at her in that zone.
And that's not why I ever started. That's not why.
well, when the
why-
Go-Go's
I've
are
never
on
done it
Miami,
for that.
you can't do it without them. Right? I mean, that's
Right.
part of being in a band.
Right,
You-
right.
I had Tommy Conwell on. I'm driving down to Dewey Beach this weekend to see Tommy Conwell and the Young Rumblers. Philadelphia band, late 80s, one of my favorite bands.
Yeah.
They only reunite once a year. And they're
Yes.
getting a little older now. And he's like, I want to do 2 or 3 times a year because I'm in their 60s. And, like, how many more times are we going to do this? And it brings us all such joy. It brings the audience such joy.
You can do it as much as you want. It's all about It's all about here. Do you want to do it? Look at the fucking Stones. Look at Springsteen. People, you can do whatever you want.
Right.
You know, you really can.
But you
And-
can't without the other 4 members
Well,
of your
I can't do
band.
the Go-Go's, that's
right,
for sure.
Right.
Yeah.
So when they're not there, it leaves you with idle time. And I would say for you, you need to work.
I need to work.
You need to work.
I mean, the book took me a year and a half to do. I'm like I keep bringing it up, but I'm so incredibly proud of it because it was something I didn't know that I could accomplish. It was something I wanted to do for decades, and it just was overwhelming the prospect of getting it done. But I got that done, and I thought, here's another thing I can add to the list that I never thought I could do. And yeah, fuck yeah, I can get the
And
House
to
of
this
Shock
day, we
back
cannot
together
even
and-
keep up with the demand for the book signings. I mean, Boston, Nashville, Memphis, there's so
We
many
gotta-
places.
yeah, we gotta get it all
Seattle, they're
together,
like
yeah.
Portland. They're begging us, please come, please come.
I
It's
want
like-
to take a break and have you get your cocktail. We're at the Beaumont. It's all brought to you by the Maryland Lottery, our friends at the Window Nation, 866-90Nation. Raskin Global, we're doing our 25th anniversary on August 3rd, and I invited Gina out. She's going to be on the West Coast, so she couldn't do the actual 25th. We're going to be there on the 3rd. We're going to be at Drug City on the 4th. 10 hours. I'm giving away everything at the. I went through the radio station. Get Nasty hats, Free the Bird shirts, old nasty newsletters, old pictures, old stuff. So there's all sorts of stuff. You can sit on my face if you want. I had a seat cushion.
Lovely.
A seat cushion with my face. WNST
Yes,
seat cushion.
yes.
So you can.
Pretty.
There's only one left, so come
Pretty.
get it early. Costas, 11 o'clock on the 3rd, then the 4th. We're at the Beaumont. I want to come back, and I want to talk, pick up House of Shock. I want to pick up music. I want to talk some Go-Go's. I want to.
Forever. Ever never. That could go on. We could be here for like 3 months.
We're going to take a break. We'll be back in 2 and 2, like they said. Back more from the Beaumont, WNST, AM 1570. Stay with us.
Okay.